Hi, everyone. Welcome to another training for Data Plus Journalism. Our handout with the links to all of our training materials for the videos is on this little handout called bit.ly/datavideos2. So if you want to hit the pause button and just open up this bit.ly link, bit.ly/datavideos2, you'll have this document. You can just click on these links and use them, as you see fit. So take a second to hit pause and then we'll get started. Okay, welcome back. At the top of our handout, we have a link to order the new version of the book, Data Plus Journalism. The new version's out in 2026. It'll have a green cover on it. Also, a supplemental resource for the book is Journalist Toolbox, journalisttoolbox.ai, which also appears, the link at the very top here. The toolbox has resources. You can go in and open up data tools or the data scraping page. You'll have links to the tools with short descriptions, training videos, all kinds of useful resources in there. So for this training video, we're going to work with Perplexity, which is down here a ways on your list, right at the bottom of page 1. Perplexity is a great research tool. It's a large language model driven by AI that allows you to do research in it. And I find it to be much more reliable. It's much better organized and much more transparent, I think, too, than other large language models when I'm doing research. This isn't my only research tool. I do run it through other models. I do, traditional Google search, all kinds of different ways to research for a story. So I'm going to do two things. One, a research prompt that I've got here, and also I'm going to have it formulate some questions. It's really good at large language models are at coming up with questions for a story. One thing I always do with these prompts, and I've given you two sample prompts here, base one, you are a blank and blank. I need you to formulate some questions about this topic. So you can sub in whatever you want here. I've bold-faced, what I've put in. It's questions asking an expert source about AI draining environmental resources in Oregon to cool data centers, mainly their lakes and rivers and things like that. I also have a research prompt for a different story. You are a national digital news reporter. It's really good to assign a role to the large language model so it gives you better answers. And then I ask it, what are key factors in driving growth of offshore wind farms? And another environmentalist topic. Cite valid research and links to studies, provide links to any relevant data sets for charts or maps. Also cite 5 expert sources on the topic and their links to their bios and contact information. This is about as long a prompt as I will write. It's asking it to do 4 or 5 things. Sometimes I break these up into step-by-step prompts, just if it's not giving me good answers on the first try. So I'm going to open up perplexity.ai. Perplexity.ai, it's a free tool, and you get 5 pro searches per day, which are deep research looks per day, which is great because you don't have to pay for it. But if you use it more than 5 times a day, you're going to want to pay for the pro version, which is what I have here. It's $20 a month. I think it's worth it. It provides images and a lot of other things, a lot of other little features that I need on a pretty regular basis because this is kind of my go-to research tool. You can upload files in here, images, documents, of anything you need to. And I'm just going to drop my prompt in here. And again, you can write your own prompt if you want, if you're actually working on a story right now. And I'm going to hit the search button here, a little arrow. And it's working away, and it kind of shows me it's running. Here's some of the websites it's looking at. It's starting to pull together some of the research. Note that it cites the sources here. I would never cut and paste anything out of here and use it in a story. I would actually go into the website. But what this does is it writes a short summary. So, I have some context and I know, okay, this is pretty interesting. I might want to use this in my story. Then I can go into the site and dig into it a little bit deeper. So that's typically how I use these. I would never just cut and paste, something like this out of here. It's a link to a nice data set. I would probably go in and take a look at it. It's an old data set of offshore wind turbines, and this comes from a community catalog here, global offshore wind turbine data set. You can vet it, go through and see what this Creative Commons license looks like, who created it. Looks to be yeah, a couple of academics, what platforms they built it on. Always, vet the information you're going to use. I mean, that kind of just goes along with journalism. And down here, it gives us some quick bios of some expert sources, potential expert sources. And as we keep scrolling through, it built this pretty quickly. Keep in mind with deep research, sometimes it takes a little while for you to get your answers. Don't stress about that. Just let it run for a while and go do something else. Now, I wouldn't just probably use this for use Perplexity only. I might jump into ChatGPT or to Claude and see, how it does with it. Claude's very good with data sets, and analyzing data sets, creating graphics and things like that, which we'll get into in other chapters and other videos in the book. But it also, you can use it, to come up with, different research. One thing that Perplexity does, though, is it does a nice job here at the top of summarizing all the links that it used. So you can just download this list of links that it used to come up with all the answers, and you just have a very quick bibliography here. It's a really nice feature. It also comes up with some possible images to use. I might track one of these graphics and see where they came from. I probably wouldn't use any of them in my story. You'd have to get permission anyway. But if you have the data set, you can recreate it as an interactive chart. And of course, credit the source. So keep in mind too, with this tool, not only does it give you results, it also gives you other follow-up in Perplexity, other follow-up prompts where you can go in and ask additional questions. What are the latest policy incentives boosting offshore wind development? You can also put in your prompts to something a little more detailed, like tailor this story to an audience in Oregon or an audience in Iowa or wherever, which is a really nice thing to do, and it will help you localize these types of stories. Again, it's just for brainstorming. I'm not saying you have to run with anything it recommends, but I often use it, as kind of a sidekick. Robin to my Batman is somebody I can kind of bounce things off of, and look at things a little bit differently. I'm going to open up a new search in Perplexity Pro, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to grab this other prompt now. Here I tell it you're an investigative journalist for a national publication. Help me come up with questions for an expert source. And it's really good at doing this as well. So I'll let that run. I'll go and check Perplexity. Gave me some interesting data here and data sets for and links to them here, which is really nice. Different agencies, relevant data sets here. So I would cross match some of these with Perplexity and kind of see what are the two or three best data sets I could use out of these two lists. And like I say, you don't have to just use these two. You can use ChatGPT, you can use Gemini or some of the other tools for research. I still find Perplexity probably the most useful for me, but you can use some others too. I'm going to give Claude another chance here to develop some interview questions. I do a lot of trainings in newsrooms, and one of the things some of the veteran reporters tell me, it's very interesting that when I go through and when they go through and develop their questions for sources, that they actually go and run one of these types of prompts because it often helps them think of things that maybe they haven't thought of before, and as far as asking questions to a source. Now, a veteran reporter is going to know this beat pretty well, but oftentimes they're looking at it from a very narrow and up close focus. AI can help step back and look at things in a little broader view. So you can run this and get your answers here and your potential questions. So I'm going to run this, and it's got targeted interview questions. It breaks it down by water use and local impact in Oregon, and it'll give specific examples here, and of course it cites the sources up here in the links section, and here's where it pulled all the information for each question. So again, I wouldn't just take one of these questions and pull any data from it or frame it this way without kind of checking out the background information first. Just want to run with these questions, you can look pretty silly. And look at Claude, did a pretty good job. Gives you some data up front and then asks the question. This helps build trust with the data source or the expert source, because you're showing them that you've done your homework and you've looked up this data. This is a very familiar one that I've seen before. The Google data sets using up 1.25 billion gallons of water just in 1 year in 2022. I would probably ask it if it's got some more recent research. It's cites others in here too, not just Google, but Meta and others as well. Meta and Apple are mentioned down here. Amazon pops up in here quite a bit too. But it helps you come up and brainstorm some detailed questions. But again, you always want to fact check the information of where it's pulling from. Is it pulling from an academic journal? Is it pulling from a news article? Is it something that you can trust and is newsworthy or has news value to it? Because otherwise, you can look pretty silly asking somebody a question based off fake data or something that was just made up online. So this is a really good way to develop some questions and do some quick and dirty research using AI tools. Again, use it as kind of a sidekick or a partner to bounce things off of. And we'll show you more, tools in future training videos, building graphics and all kinds of crazy stuff. But really, all your work in data starts with, interviews, doing research and finding data sets. And, this is a good way to start. These large language models are a good way to get started. I hope you found this useful, and we'll see you on the next video.